They're not door kickers like the Rangers. They're not lone operators like Navy SEALs. But the U.S. Army's Green Berets are something different. They slip behind enemy lines. They train locals to fight back. And they wage wars that most people never even hear about. They're called America's Quiet Professionals. And today, we break down who they are, how they fight, and why their missions are unlike any other. The Green Berets trace their roots back to World War II, when the Office of Strategic Services, known as the OSS, led the fight in the shadows. These men trained partisans in occupied Europe. They sabotaged Nazi supply lines. So what makes Green Berets different from Rangers, SEALs, Delta Force? It's their mission. They are specialists in unconventional warfare, but they don't just fight. They take farmers, tribesmen, and rebels and turn them into fighters. They multiply force. They lead foreign internal defense, training allies' militaries to stand on their own. Every Green Beret speaks a foreign language, studies a culture. Yes, they can do direct action. They can do raids, assaults, takedowns. But that's just one slice of the pie. Their specialty is going where no one else can and building an army out of nothing. Here on Blue Steel, we've spoken to these men, and their stories aren't just about firefights. They're about teaching, building, and leading in the most dangerous corners of the world. Becoming a Green Beret starts with SFAS, Special Forces Assessment and Selection. For 3 weeks, candidates endure endless ruck marches, solo navigation, and constant psychological pressure. There are no screaming drill instructors, just silence, exhaustion, and the demand to push forward. Strength alone won't earn you the beret. Intelligence and adaptability are just as important. Vietnam transformed the Green Berets from an experiment into legends. They set up remote camps in the Central Highlands, training Montagnard tribesmen to resist the Viet Cong. These camps were often isolated and under siege. Sometimes a dozen Americans facing hundreds of attackers. They ran cross-border missions into Laos and into Cambodia, gathering intelligence and sabotaging supply lines. They built guerrilla armies out of local fighters, tying down entire enemy divisions with but a few men. The war was brutal, but it showed what made the Green Berets unique. They didn't just fight the enemy. They created new forces out of thin air and unleashed those forces behind enemy lines. After Vietnam, the Green Berets didn't just fade away. They shifted to new battlegrounds. In Central America during the 1980s, they trained counterinsurgents and built local forces. In the Gulf War, they ran reconnaissance and raids deep into Iraqi territory. In the Balkans during the 1990s, they advised partners and stabilized fragile regions. Through it all, they were America's behind-the-scenes specialists, fighting wars that most Americans never even knew were happening. After 9/11, the Green Berets stepped further into the spotlight. Within weeks, small 12-man teams, known as ODAs, rode into Afghanistan on horseback. They linked up with the Northern Alliance, guided local fighters, called in airstrikes, and toppled the Taliban in a matter of weeks. Think about that. 12 men turning resistance fighters into an army and breaking an enemy regime. Green Berets have died in jungles, deserts, and mountains. Many return with scars that you cannot see. PTSD, senses of loss and abandonment, survivor's guilt. That's why these stories matter. Because these aren't just operators. They are fathers, they are sons, they are brothers. And their stories show not just the courage, but also the cost. Today, Green Berets operate in more than 70 countries. They build armies. They train allies. They fight terrorists. And they prepare for conflicts against near-peer adversaries. Their mission hasn't changed since the days of the OSS. They wage war in the shadows. They build resistance. From the jungles of Vietnam to horseback charges in Afghanistan, the Green Berets have proven again and again that they are America's unconventional warriors. They're teachers, they're leaders, they're quiet professionals. If you want to hear their voices, unfiltered, raw, and real, subscribe to Blue Steel Adventures, because here we don't just talk about the mission, we talk with the men who lived it.